Hello and welcome to what will almost certainly be a somewhat shambolic van video. I'm not even here in the van, I'm here in the car. What is this heresy? I'm at the National Agricultural Centre in Stoneleigh in Warwickshire, which despite its name is actually a showground for things that are non-agricultural. And today, for the first time ever, Warner's shows, or Warner's company, I don't know who really Warner's are, but they do campervan events, and they've decided to hold a, let me see if I can get this name right, motorhome, campervan and camping show. They've never been here before. They thought, let's hold one at Stoneleigh, and I thought I'd pop along for the day. So I have just finished actually, and I've been wandering around just snapping a few shots on my phone, and I thought I would cobble together a video for you. The interesting thing about this one versus the show that always is on at the NEC twice a year is that here they've got quite a lot of dealers with second-hand used campervans to look around. So the prices are not the usual astronomical new prices, they're astronomical second-hand prices as well. So I had a little look round, and what follows is a kind of a summary of my day. After parking on seemingly a random bit of gravel amongst some buildings, I followed the crowds in hope they knew where they were going, as signage was limited, at least until you actually got to the main building, whereupon you were reassured about your location. And this was clearly the spot. Look, campervans. Even before going inside, I spotted the cutest tiny campervan built on a Peugeot partner. I do like tiny boats and vans, so this was of great interest. It manages to pack in a double bed, sink, gas hob, electrical system and an amount of storage too. I'd actually like one of these. It's so small you could use it as an everyday car. I notice they're built on used vehicles, so as to keep the price down, I suppose. There's even a portable toilet under the seat at the end. Brilliant. Right, into the show, which is largely, though not wholly, indoors, and you can see they've packed a lot of campervans and motorhomes into the halls. It's not as spacious as the event at the NEC, and the hard floors make it a bit noisier, but it didn't feel crowded, though this may change if the event gathers momentum in future years. There was a fair bit of this going on, show offers, although given the cost of VW campervans, this may still be the only model I could afford, and actually I'm not even sure about that. Fifth wheels are not common in the UK. We're much more of a campervan or caravan country. The latter is travel trailers for my North American viewers. This was a surprise though, that you can tow this behemoth on a car licence. Blimey! Inside, it's spacious, though the brown furnishing was not to my taste. As expected, there's a bedroom at the end with lots of cupboards. And a decent shower room too. I was on the hunt for compact motorhomes, and this Burstner Ixio fits that bill at a fraction over 6 metres long. You'll notice it's a second-hand model. There were lots of those at this show, which I very much liked. Look at that vast living area. When it comes to bedtime, it's up above and drops down. Then a rather unusual kitchen layout, across rather than along. I'm not sure how I feel about this. And at the back, there's a big toilet and shower cubicle with that British classic carpet on the loo floor, although I think that was just for protection during the show. I hope so. For 50 grand and negligible miles, this was good value, I think, at least as far as motorhomes go these days. I said there were plenty of used vans displayed, and some of them really were proper older models at relatively accessible prices. Look, here's a motorhome for 17 grand. That's peanuts in motorhome terms. The number plate tells us it's from 2003, and it was in quite sparkling condition, I must say. For a 23-year-old van, that's no mileage at all. I was genuinely nearly tempted, especially when you see all you get inside. kitchen at the back, which includes a fridge, grill, oven, cooktop and sink. Cupboards above too. A perfectly usable shower and loo are in a cupboard beside that. There's some kind of heating unit here. And the living/sleeping area is big with a useful dinette. Even the fabric's okay, which is rare. And there's an over-cab bed as well. I really thought this was very decent for the price, assuming it all works as expected. The driving area is of its age, but looks perfectly comfortable. And look at all the cupboards! I swear I could live in this. Enthused, I took a look at the next van along. Slightly newer, 2008, and a van conversion rather than a coach-built motorhome. Again, such low mileage. Let's peek inside. Nice lounging area, and very unusually for a campervan, especially of this age I think, a drop-down bed. The kitchen area seemed an odd use of space to me, over there on the left anyway, but it's got all the necessities. I'm confident I could knock up a cheese sandwich and a cup of tea here. At the back there's a combined toilet and shower space, where the sink tap lifts up to become the shower head. But as I like smaller vans, this one caught my eye, based on a high-top VW transporter. It's got an awning on the side, which is a nice bonus. And yes, low miles for its year. But holy moly, look at that price for a 28-year-old van. That's the VW badge for you. But I did like it. I could stand up fully, which I can't in my van. And there's a cosy lounge/bed area, which is probably a pain to make into a bed, to be fair. The kitchen is split across both sides with gas hob, three-way fridge and sink. Crucially, unlike my van, this has a dedicated loo and shower cubicle at the end. I want this. I'm not a fan of campsite showers. Again, it's all of its era, but is it worth £18,000? I think the motorhome was better value. It was time to move on, and whilst I'm not one for tents usually, I thought I'd have a quick browse here. It was a curiously desolate hall, it needed some warmth and va-va-voom. But there were definitely tents on display, so I went for a quick wander, and was glad that I did. You see, I spotted this inflatable awning for campervans, and have been idly toying with whether I should get something like this for my van. It's got an enclosed tent-like bit at the back with a sunshade stretching out further. And the whole thing is held up not by rigid poles, but inflatable tubes which you just pump up. That said, 360 quid is a lot of money for a sun canopy. And my van doesn't have this rail on the side of the roof, which all the campervan awnings seem to need. I'm a little reluctant to drill the holes into the van to mount one too. But I do like the idea of this covered space on a sunny or windy day, and it all packs down into that bag you can see on the floor. That said, this might be an even better idea, as it's a self-supporting pop-up gazebo which packs down even smaller. It uses the same pump to inflate the tubes that hold it up to 7 psi if I recall rightly, and they seem pretty solid. The show price is a little more palatable than the RRP, but I wonder how much use I would actually get from it. Both products are from a company called Trail, and I had a very good chat with their product designer, who's the chap in the black t-shirt here. Very friendly, and I am pondering a purchase. As I was on the lookout for accessories, this sign caught my eye, and I wandered through to the next hall, which began with a stand selling all kinds of things to improve your campervan experience. I have been looking for a nice camping chair, and this one was quite comfortable, but crikey, Is it just me who balks at the idea of £82 for a folding camp chair? Then there was this one. That was really comfortable. I could nap in this quite happily, but I needed a good sit down after seeing that price. More accessories followed, and I wondered whether something like this could make for a water tank for Twiggy, which will only be a day boat after all, so it doesn't need gallons of the stuff. It has this very wide opening for refilling, though I'd need to sort the spout end to plug into the tap on Twiggy's sink. Let's get back to the vans, and I continued browsing the second-hand motorhomes with interest. Here's a small Benimar from 2019 for 50 grand. I liked a lot about it, but unfortunately could only get comfortable in that far corner where the cushion is. Every other chair position was uncomfortable. The kitchen's all right, and I did like the idea of the fixed bed at the back, saving you making it up every night. That would be nice. And the shower compartment was okay. Onto an auto trail now, and I know I like their current F60 model, but this was something different, called a Tracker. Still compact, and at what counts as a reasonable price for a used motorhome these days. What caught my surprise about this one was the sense of open space inside. There's the saloon area with opposing benches. Behind is a kitchen with fridge and oven and hob and so forth, but somehow there's also all this space in between everything. That's a heater, I think, and at the end of the van are separate loo and shower compartments, which again give you that sense of space. Above the cab is a big ceiling bulge, not used for a bed here, but for cabinets which are deep and provide massive storage. I could not only live in this, I could probably take in a lodger, it's so vast. The trip to the last hall goes through more used vans on display outside. I was drawn to the compact size of this Bessa car. It's on a 70 plate, so 6 years old, and it's amazing how these vans hold their prices, even though it is quite well spec'd. That's a nice open sociable lounge, I think, and you don't have to make it up for a bed because that drops down from the ceiling. The cab is modern with air conditioning and a 6-speed manual. There's the kitchen at the back with a large fridge and what can only be described as a compact working area, even with a flip-out table. There's a microwave in this one as well. In a corner at the back, a very decently large toilet and shower cubicle. Let's potter on into Hall 3, which was really where all the accessories stands were. And an incredible number of people selling dog treats, although there were also an incredible number of visitors who'd brought their dogs, so perhaps this was the right place. You could get anything here, and I treated myself to a small cool box for ferrying stuff to the boat, as it's an hour away from my house. Upstairs, in a not very well signposted theatre, there were talks all day long. Here, Kat of Wandering Bird Adventures discussing motorhome travels in France. She knows her stuff, does Kat? Give her a follow on Instagram or YouTube. And what a pleasure to meet campervan friends Tash, Darren, Mandy and the Hills, also the roaming Radfords who I forgot to film. And inevitably, there again was my old boss, now running Caravan Radio. And that was it. For less than a tenner, this was a very enjoyable day out, and I'd certainly go again, I think. I hope you enjoyed this quick whiz round. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.